What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Living in Jacksonville. I've been MIA for a little while, went on vacation to Florida with the family, hit up Disney World, that kind of thing, came back, had some family in town, but always dedicated to bringing you guys good information about the Eastern North Carolina region. And with all that being said, guys, today we're discussing Holly Ridge, North Carolina, and its pros and cons. A lot of you have not even heard of Holly Ridge, North Carolina, but it is one of the most up-and-coming areas, in my opinion, on the southeastern part of North Carolina, and I'll tell you why throughout this video. But you guys generally want to know why, what cons there are to the area. That is what helps you make your decision, ultimately move to an area. So we're going to discuss the pros and then the cons right now. All right, guys, and if you don't know who I am, I'm Avery. I'm with American Home Team at eXp Realty here in southeastern North Carolina. And as much as I love making these videos for you guys, I would love even more to help you with your real estate needs. So that phone number and email address popping up on the screen. I am the one that responds to all the calls, texts, and emails, and I would love to have a conversation with you, see how I can help you make that smooth move to the southeastern North Carolina region. But without further ado, let's talk about the pros of Holly Ridge, North Carolina. First pro that I'm going to say is the proximity to the beach. Guys, I personally live in Holly Ridge and it takes me 12 minutes to get right here. So this is the Intercoastal Waterway, but about 200 yards in front of me is the beach. So, you know, it took me only 12 minutes. So depending on where you are in Holly Ridge, it's gonna take you from, you know, 7 to about 15, maybe 20 minutes on the high end. If you are closer to the Intercoastal. The one thing I will say is that a lot of times if you're going from Holly Ridge to Surf City, some areas you do have to backtrack, cut up toward like 17, cut over, go down into Surf City, go over the Surf City Bridge. But with that said, it is right between Surf City and Sneads Ferry. And if you don't know, the bridges to the beaches, there's only two over onto Topsail Island. One is Surf City and the other is Sneads Ferry. So parts of Holly Ridge is closer to the Sneads Ferry Bridge and parts of Holly Ridge is closer to the Surf City Bridge. I personally go to the Surf City Bridge. I think that there's more to do in the Surf City area than the Sneads Ferry or North Topsail Beach area. And it's a little bit faster for me. But all of my shopping is in that Surf City area. So I do enjoy coming to this area a little bit more than going the other way. But nonetheless, you do have close proximity to the beaches without being actual beachfront community. All right, pro number 2 is the fact that most of Holly Ridge is undeveloped. And what I mean by that is there's a lot of land still available, which yes, is eventually gonna be sold off to developers. There's gonna be homes built in the near future in some of these rural areas of Holly Ridge. But with that said, you are gonna be able right now to get real estate for a little bit cheaper than you would some of the surrounding areas. So a lot of my clients, they are looking in Holly Ridge for affordable properties. They want to be close to the beach, they want to be close to the happenings, but don't necessarily need to be right inside of it and want to benefit from the cheaper prices. So they move into Holly Ridge and drive 10 minutes into Surf City. You know, Sneads Ferry does have the lowest taxes of all the areas between Jacksonville and Wilmington. But Holly Ridge is gonna be cheaper than Surf City and even Hampstead. So if you're looking for cheaper taxes, cheaper home prices, you're definitely gonna be able to find them, in my opinion, in Holly Ridge. A lot of my clients that are moving here, relocating from other areas, they find Holly Ridge attractive for that reason. And then not to mention, there is newer construction. So you're not buying, you know, super old homes in this area. There is a bunch of new construction developments in Holly Ridge, including Summer House, which is the master plan community that we have here in Holly Ridge. So, you know, you have a good choice of real estate and typically it's cheaper with a little bit of a lower tax. Some parts of Holly Ridge, you get 65 cents per $100 in value. And then other parts you get about $1 per $100 in value as far as taxes go. So something to think about. You're probably going to be saving money moving to anywhere here in North Carolina, but Holly Ridge, most likely you're going to be saving a lot more. All right, guys, and pro number 3 is a personal favorite of mine, and that is the safety and walkability of the neighborhoods inside of Holly Ridge. A lot of you guys that move to this area, you tell me how many people you see out and about walking, riding bikes, skateboards, whatever, family walks, that kind of thing, in the neighborhoods of Holly Ridge. Guys, I cannot express to you enough, in upstate New York, I want it to be as country as possible. I want it to be in the rural areas because, you know, some of the neighborhoods, you don't necessarily feel that safe out walking with your family and that kind of thing. The neighborhoods here have sort of made me a neighborhood person, as long as I get a little bit of privacy with like a fence or something. But with that said, my wife and daughter are out in the neighborhood walking every single day. We take walks down to the community boat ramp every single day. We walk our dogs. My daughter rides her bike, and we don't have to worry about cars whizzing through, you know, getting hit by cars or weirdos harassing you on your walks or whatever. It's a very friendly area. It's very safe. People generally drive responsibly, and they look out for kids because they know that kids are riding their bikes, you know, families are going on walks, that kind of thing. With the weather so nice, you want to enjoy it outside. And so when you're walking the neighborhood, it's nice not feeling like you're going to get blasted by a car or your kids are unsafe or your dogs or whatever the case is. So that is one added benefit that I've seen since living here too, is just walking the neighborhood, having the freedom inside of our neighborhood to, you know, be around friendly people and not feel like we're gonna, you know, get smashed by a car or, you know, people harassing us or anything like that. So the walkability and the safety in the area is bar none. You can't really say that about certain areas of, you know, Wilmington or Jacksonville, but you can say that about the suburb of Holly Ridge. All right, and another pro that I will say is the access to the water. I know I mentioned access to the beaches, but the intercoastal waterway and a bunch of these rivers that go through Holly Ridge make it extremely accessible if you are a boater, if you're a fisher, if you just like to take a walk to the boat ramp with your kids, you know, and just look at some water or do whatever, right? Holly Ridge is surrounded by a bunch of these little waterways. So if you enjoy that kind of thing, you're gonna love it in Holly Ridge because you don't need to spend a fortune just to be next to the water. You know, you can get into it at an affordable cost and walking distance. A lot of people here in Holly Ridge have golf carts. They cruise around the neighborhood in their golf cart. They go to the boat ramp in their golf cart, just throw a fishing line in or do whatever, right? But nonetheless, extremely close to waterways. So if that's your thing, Holly Ridge is gonna be the place for you. All right, now moving on to the cons of Holly Ridge. There are a few, so bear with me, and this is hopefully gonna help you make your decision whether or not Holly Ridge is a good area for you. But the number one con, in my opinion, is that there are no commercial spaces in Holly Ridge. There's really no stores, there's no grocery stores, there's no shopping, there's really no business in Holly Ridge. There are smaller mom and pop shops and things like that that you can take advantage of. But as far as your daily necessities, grocery shopping or getting some clothes or anything like that, you're either gonna go online or you're gonna head over, you know, 12 minutes or so into Surf City. Surf City is where I do all of my shopping. They have a neighborhood Walmart, they have a Food Lion, a Publix, and then all of your restaurants and things like that are in Surf City. Holly Ridge has a couple, right? There's one brewery in Holly Ridge, there's a gas station, you know, there's a few small things in Holly Ridge, but the majority of your shopping, the majority of your daily essentials and necessities are going to be either in Surf City or Sneads Ferry, depending on where you are. But Sneads Ferry really doesn't have that much either. It has a Food Lion, a couple shopping strips, but other than that, there's really not much. And if you want some of the super centers, if you want the Targets, the Kmarts, you know, things like that, or, you know, the bigger restaurants, Chick-fil-A, that kind of thing, you are gonna be going into either Jacksonville or Wilmington. Holly Ridge is about 30 minutes to each area, you know, and or Hampstead. You can get into Hampstead in 15, 20 minutes. And there's some decent options in Hampstead as well, but they all are a little bit smaller than, you know, your super Walmarts and that kind of thing. So any of the big box stores gonna be in Jacksonville, about 30 minutes away, or Wilmington, about 30 minutes away. So now the other con, and I really started thinking about this more as I worked with some of you that are retiring to the area, asking about medical services. Look, you don't get big medical services around here. You don't have the ERs, right? There's some smaller urgent cares and stuff that you can take advantage of if you absolutely need to, but the big ERs, the big hospitals, it's in Jacksonville or Wilmington. So something to think about. My dentist and my eye doctor are in Surf City, right? That's where we go for just about everything, is Surf City. But you don't get some of your bigger medical services. There is dialysis centers and things like that in Hampstead, and there are some smaller Novent Health practices in Hampstead, but for the most part, you are gonna need to go to either Onslow Memorial in Jacksonville, or you're gonna have to go into Wilmington. So something to think about if you expect that you will need emergency services, or that's something that just worries you. Definitely big consideration, but Holly Ridge does not have it. There are a couple of vets in the area as well, you know, talking about your pets and stuff, but the big medical services, not here. All right, and con number 3 is that a lot of people say there's not much to do in Holly Ridge, and I would agree with you. Holly Ridge does have some game land, and you know, people go on walks out there and that kind of thing. But the majority of Holly Ridge is basically going to be your waterways. If you aren't a boater or a fisher, yeah, you are probably going to get bored. If you're not okay with hanging out in your own backyard, your own house, that kind of thing, probably going to get bored. And if you don't like small restaurants and breweries and things like that, that you would get here on Topsail Island or in Surf City, or some of the smaller amenities, yeah, you might get bored. There are a lot of things going on in Jacksonville or Wilmington you can take advantage of, but as far as here in Holly Ridge, not much. You know, we go outside of Holly Ridge for just about everything. Yes, there's a community center and they throw festivals and things like that every once in a while, have food trucks and vendors and that kind of thing in the area, but it's once in a blue moon. So something to think about if you need to be in the hustle and bustle, if you need activities and things to do right next to you, right where you live, Holly Ridge is not going to be the area for you. But going down the road into Surf City, Sneads Ferry, into Hampstead, there's always things going on. Like today is a Thursday and there's a farmer's market in Hampstead at Ironclad at Shaka Taco. They hold farmers markets, and they also have homeschool entrepreneurs that come and sell their goods. And so you can get fresh food, fresh produce, you know, local vendors are there, have a drink, have a bite to eat, enjoy some music, that kind of thing. There's always stuff like that going on in the area, but you do have to drive to it. So Holly Ridge isn't going to be the area if you need to be in the hustle and bustle of all of those activities. All right, now the last thing that I will say about Holly Ridge as far as a con goes, and some of you guys have mentioned this to me, is that you don't like the proximity to all of the campgrounds and the trailer parks and that kind of thing. Guys, we are in the South. Holly Ridge is a relatively rural place. It's relatively unincorporated as well. So, you know, without all of the commercial and all of that desirable amenities and things like that, you do get these trailer parks. You do have these RV parks and little campgrounds and stuff. And yeah, you know, they don't always look the greatest, but they are harmless. And, you know, my mind says that eventually they will be developed on. Not right now, probably not in the next 5 to 10 years, but at some point they will be developed on, just because that's the way the area is going. We need to develop housing communities. We need to allow people into the area. So with that said, yeah, sometimes it can be a bit unsightly, and I understand, right? But the good news is that you get to choose what neighborhood your house is in, the lot that your house is on, that kind of thing. So if you don't like a trailer park, or if you don't like a mobile home right next to you, I get it, right? Buy the house, you know, 3 doors down, or whatever the case is. Just something to think about. There are a lot of mobile homes. This was a lot of farmland at one point. It's a fishing community, that kind of thing. So yes, you do get a lot of those southern mobile homes and mobile home parks and RV parks. So something to think about. If you don't like that kind of thing, They are sprinkled throughout. It's not, you know, super crazy in my opinion. But if you're not used to it, if you're from like LA or something like that, you guys just have people on the streets and whatnot. We don't have people living on the streets here. We have people living in actual houses. But mobile homes, mobile home parks, RV parks, they are here, they are prevalent, so something to consider. But with all that said, guys, I hope you found value out of this video. If Holly Ridge is a possible destination for you, feel free to give me a call, a text, an email at the information provided right there. I am the one that responds to all the calls, texts, and emails. I would love to have a conversation with you. If we can help, we would absolutely love to. But until the next video, guys, peace. See you later. Bye.